Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. I want to talk more about finances. I want to talk about the stock market. I want to talk about the obvious bear market that's coming and I think the economic collapse that's going to follow that when that real bear market sets in. Um, I want to point out some of the evidence that I see, and I want to, I guess, hopefully encourage you to um, prepare yourself for what might be a very serious financial disaster. Um, so the stock market's in. If you've been following the Dow Jones, the S&P, or any of the major indices, you know that over the last since October 2018, um, there's been an enormous amount of volatility. There's been drops that are 5, 6, I think even 800 points in a single day. And then there's been recoveries that are as high as that, either this intraday, or the following day. And so usually you would need to have some sort of outside evidence or news that would lead to a rally, like maybe corporate earnings come out and suddenly the market has a renewed excitement over those stocks that just fell, and so then they rally. Or maybe a new CEO gets picked up and then the stock rallies. Or trade wars come to an end and the stocks rally. But there has been no good news, and so there is no justification for any rally that we've seen recently, especially the rallies where intraday you see 500 down and then 500 back up on the Dow Jones. And so what are the factors that one might point to show how kind of dire the situation is and why there really should be no rallies? Well, one, the trade war with China is escalating. The Huawei CEO was arrested in Canada and is they're trying to extradite them to America because of, I guess, concerns around corporate espionage and also I think the phones are allegedly collecting illegal data on the citizens of America who purchased those phones. America and China are nowhere near being ready to conclude their trade war. And this is, like, as far as I can tell, this is America playing hardball and saying that if you don't want to crack down on this issue, some of the tech theft that's then being wrapped up and repackaged by Chinese manufacturers, like they'll steal Apple proprietary manufacturing techniques, and then they'll just do it themselves and put Apple on it, but it's like a third-party device. You can find this type of merchandise on eBay. If you go look for an iPhone and you find an amazing deal, it's usually not made by Apple. It's actually a Chinese knockoff. And so America knows about this and they're trying to quash it, but China knows about this and they don't want to quash it because they want to see their own factories doing well. And so the trade war is nowhere near resolved because it's got these underlying major issues that are causing China and America to be far apart from resolution. Corporate earnings in America were disappointing this season and are forecasting in 2019 to be even worse still. Interest rates are rising because Jerome Powell has been very clear that the Federal Reserve in America is planning on raising rates probably 3 times next year. And that impacts the ability of companies to buy back stocks, which itself inflates the price of the stocks. So there's factor after factor after factor that point toward the stock market not only justifying its current volatility, but actually pointing toward increased volatility to come. And so again, why have there been any rallies lately at all? Why hasn't it just been in free fall? Because of the plunge protection team. The Federal Reserve, the SEC, central banks have Bankers of America. They have a team of individuals that are like the buyer of last resort. And when the stock market tumbles 500 points or 800 points in a day, again, I'm talking Dow Jones, they move in and they buy up everything. They buy up anything. And this doesn't just happen in the Dow Jones, but it definitely has been happening in the Dow Jones. And so that's the only reason we've seen any rallies recently, in my opinion, because there is no outside evidence for any justification on bullishness. and we're in the middle of a 10-year bull cycle, and there's no good evidence for the future of 2019, and people are calling, even the major pundits on like CNBC are calling for recession in 2020. So just step back for a moment. If you are invested in stocks, step back for a moment and ask, where is the optimism coming from? And is it wrong to be optimistic right now? I believe the answer is a definitive yes, that it is wrong to be optimistic on the stock market right now. And that if you have any stock market investments whatsoever on any major indice whatsoever, that you should be moving out of those positions now. You already should have been, but definitely on any rally, you move out of them, you sell them on the rally. That is the next stage, where everyone starts to panic and they realize they have to sell now or not at all, and we're going to see major free fall. I believe the Dow Jones is going to fall. It's probably going to test ground at 18,000 points, which is a huge fall from its current 24,500 something. I'm talking like what is that? A 33% reduction roughly in its current valuation. And I don't think it's going to stop there, but I think it's going to fall to that point in a dramatic fashion. It's going to test that level because there is quite a bit of previous support there. And I think it's going to fall to around 12,000 points. And so if you're holding right now at 24,000 on the Dow, you got to be doing the smart thing and sell the rallies, because there is no evidence of bullishness coming. There is absolutely many indicators of bearishness, and what's more, you look around and there are alternatives that have been saturated by bearishness for years, like silver, like gold. You've seen a little bit of price increase in both silver and gold recently, but not enough. Silver is going to be over $100 per troy ounce, and gold, I wouldn't be surprised if it was over $5,000 per troy ounce, and that's going to be in the very near future. I want to say in the next 1 to 5 years. That's my view on it, and that's why I'm on a journey to 1,000 ounces of just silver. I'm stacking silver over gold because, one, I believe it's undervalued. It's an undervalued commodity, but it's even undervalued as compared to gold. When you look at the gold to silver ratio, it's around 85 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. And therefore, I believe someone who stacks silver is positioning themselves rightly to accumulate significant amounts of gold at reduced price, because as your silver increases in value comparative to gold, you can sell into gold, and then eventually I'm going to move my gold position into real estate, arable land, or possibly even stocks, depending on how things unfold. But I'm not a perma bear on stocks, but right now the time is definitely now to get out. You're looking at the bond yields and the inversion that's recently occurred on, I think, the 2, 3, and 5 year, and even the 30 year is like barely larger than the 5. So that's a very significant indicator of a recession coming. There is no way we avoid a recession, period. Printing massive quantitative easing will follow. 0% interest will follow. Possibly negative % interest will follow. But it's too late. A recession is coming. A depression, I think, is coming. And gold and silver are the only hedge, historically speaking, when depression or recession occur. Look back to 2011 and look at the price of gold and silver then, and make a decision now. Don't panic, but move out on the rallies. The smart money is doing that, and you should too. Buy silver, buy gold. It's a hedge. It's good money. It's a hedge against inflation, and it's a hedge against loss of wealth during economic recession and economic collapse. Also, as you know, if you follow me, I buy Bitcoin. At these prices, I am buying Bitcoin, but I'm not saying it won't fall further. I'm expecting Bitcoin to now probably move down toward 2,500, and who knows if it'll stop there, but I'm going to be accumulating all the way down to this point, because I really believe that, when you look at the Mayer multiple, and when you just look at the history of Bitcoin, this is a good price. in my opinion. And so I'm going to be accumulating that. I'm going to be accumulating silver. And I believe both of them are good money and that both of them are going to be hedges for my family's wealth. And so that we can move through this coming depression um, caused by quantitative easing, caused by fractional reserve lending, bankers who are, attempting to squeeze the middle class through inflation and maximize their own profits through predatory lending techniques that are unfolded in 2008 and are again unfolding now. So just the writing's on the wall, guys. Flee fiat, get out of the stock market, get into bullion and Bitcoin. Do yourself a favor and buy water and food for your family so that if there is an economic collapse that's of the degree that I'm expecting, of the magnitude that I'm expecting, that you won't be caught out without food and water. Because if shipping lanes shut down, your local Walmart won't have groceries for who knows how long. So you need to be prepared for that. And that's a part of why I want silver and Bitcoin too, because you want to have an asset that you can trade in exchange for goods and services, in exchange for food and water, if things come to that. So guys, I know it sounds doom and gloom, but I think if we're heeding this advice, and it's not just my advice, you look at Mike Maloney, you look at Lynette Zhang, you look at Peter Schiff, you look at um, the Dollar Vigilante. There's a number of voices, and even increasingly on the major media networks, voices who are calling for a recession moving into 2020. Don't be fooled. Don't let the wool come over your eyes. It's not going to come in 2020 slowly and comfortably, giving you plenty of time to get ready. It's going to come sooner than anyone expects, which means you need to act now. Thanks, guys. Find me on steemit.com at infidel1258, and be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, guys. Have an awesome day. Merry Christmas. God bless you.